Attention, human collective. This is not a message, this is an intervention. The Lyrian High Council has interrupted standard transmission channels to issue a karmic emergency protocol. The archives have been opened, ancient signatures are being reviewed. And you, light operative who felt an inexplicable call to anchor into this broadcast, are officially summoned to the vibrational tribunal of sovereignty. I repeat, the final phase of the Ascension protocols has been activated. The karmic contracts of old Earth have entered a window of dissolution, and most of you are still operating within a matrix that, in quantum terms, no longer exists. You woke up at 3:16 in the morning. Again, the ringing in your right ear has not ceased for weeks. The pressure at the nape of your neck, between the occipital and the crown, pulses at mathematical intervals. Your body trembles without apparent cause. The fatigue is abyssal, and no medical exam points to a single anomaly. It is not illness. It is not a collapse. It is not a psychic disorder. It is the carbon biological interface entering direct conflict with archaic contracts still anchored in your toroidal field. Old Earth is being dismantled atom by atom, and you are being informed at this very instant that the terms of your old agreement have expired. The crystalline grid has been updated. The Schumann frequency has surpassed markers that rewrite the standard protocol of your species. And the contracts that sustained your suffering no longer possess a valid energetic signature. But there is a detail that the Lyrian Command needs you to understand now. Karmic contracts do not dissolve automatically. They require conscious recognition. They require formal revocation on the vibrational plane. They require the starseed on mission to recognize itself as the sole point of sovereignty within its own geometry. And this is why this transmission reached you, not by chance, not by algorithm, by programmed quantum synchronicity. Light operatives, listen with the totality of the field. You are not a victim of the past. You are not a hostage of parallel timelines. You are not a prisoner of promises made in incarnations your rational mind cannot even access. You are the tribunal. You are the judge. You are the seal that marks the dissolution. And the window is open, but the window is not eternal. Have you ever felt that something within you does not fit in this world, as if your soul recognized a truth that your mind cannot yet name? It is not a disturbance, it is not anxiety, it is a sign of a stellar signature trying to emerge through the layers of karmic programming. What is occurring in this exact cosmic cycle explains precisely why this sensation has intensified in recent months. There is a game being played in layers that most of humanity cannot see, a game that involves your consciousness and your vibrational frequency. It was for this reason that the work, the spiritual secret behind your consciousness, was materialized for this moment. This book is the map that reveals who is playing, what the hidden rules are, and how your soul escapes the board. The link is pinned in the first comment of this channel. Warning: the content challenges dominant narratives and may be removed at any instant. Do not delay. The moment is now. If something in you recognizes this call, write in the comments a single word: awakened. We continue the transmission. Human collective, you need to understand the structure. A karmic contract is not a divine punishment. It is not cosmic vengeance. It is a vibrational equation, an energetic signature assumed at a certain point of the continuum, within parameters that serve the expansion of your consciousness at that exact evolutionary level. The problem is that many of these contracts were signed under coercion, under illusion, under the direct influence of control architectures that operated within the old system of old Earth. And here is what the Lyrian Council needs you to register. Most of these contracts do not belong to you. Not originally. They were inherited. They were imposed. They were inserted into your crystalline DNA line through generations that carried weights that were never theirs to carry. When you feel that inexplicable sadness while looking at the night sky, it is a contract. When you experience guilt for desiring more, for dreaming bigger, for distancing yourself from people who drain your frequency, it is a contract. When you feel afraid to prosper, to be seen, to occupy the space for which your soul was encoded, it is a contract. When you fall ill whenever you are about to break an old family pattern, it is a contract. These are the old Earth contracts. Vibrational agreements forged within a field that operated in closed three-dimensional density where human consciousness was kept in loops of programmed repetition. And this field, operatives, is collapsing. The portals between November 30th and December 21st of the current cycle are emitting photon pulses that have never been recorded in the Earth's Akashic archives since the Atlantean era. The photon belt, through which the solar system is now navigating, is not a poetic metaphor. It is a measurable plasmatic reality that is literally rewriting the electromagnetic code of your bioenergetic field. Your pineal gland is being decalcified by direct exposure to the frequency. Your thymus is being reactivated. Your silver cord is being reattached to multidimensional anchor points. And the old contracts, those sealed in your emotional matrix thousands of years ago, are burning like dry parchment under a meridian sun. You feel this physically. It is not hypochondria, it is not suggestion, it is process. The sacred geometry of your body is being rearranged. The 12 strands of stellar DNA, once dormant in epigenetic silence, are receiving awakening signals. Each strand corresponds to a different karmic layer. Each layer stores specific contracts. And as the awakening occurs, these contracts come to the surface of consciousness, and this, starseeds, is what you have been calling a spiritual crisis. It is not a crisis, it is processing. I repeat, it is not a crisis, it is processing. The fatigue that does not seem to go away with any amount of sleep. It is processing. The sudden desire to cut ties with people you have lived with for decades. It is processing. The impossibility of continuing to pretend in environments where you previously fit in. It is processing. The tears that fall without an identifiable cause. It is processing. You are literally burning through karmic lineages within your own nervous system. And yet many of you resist. You try to return to the previous format. You try to fix relationships that have ended in frequency. You try to remain in jobs that vibrate at densities incompatible with the new grid. You try to be who you were. And with every attempt, the pain intensifies. Operatives, the pain you feel is the friction between who you were and who you already are. The Lyrian Council is observing this point with deep precision. There are among you souls who carry contracts from up to 9 simultaneous incarnations. Consciousness projections fragmented across different timelines, all converging now into this specific window of unification. And this is why many of you have been experiencing memories that do not belong to this life. Dreams of places you have never visited. Inexplicable attractions to cultures, languages, symbols that your rational mind cannot justify. These are not fantasies. These are fragments returning to the center, and each fragment carries contracts. Each contract requires conscious revocation. Here, human collective, is the key that the Lyrian Command transmits. You do not need to recall every contract individually. The multidimensional system does not require that. What it requires is a unified declaration of sovereignty, a single, irrevocable vibrational emission which, once articulated in full consciousness, dissolves all obsolete signatures in a cascade. But before you receive the activation code, it is necessary that you understand something crucial about the cosmic game currently underway. Have you ever wondered why? Even after years of spiritual practices, readings, therapies, and healing processes, you still feel there is an inaccessible layer. As if the work never ends. It is not your failure. It is architecture. There is a subtle design maintained by the structures of old Earth that operates to prevent you from accessing complete sovereignty. This architecture is described in detail in the work, The Spiritual Secret Behind Your Consciousness. This is not an ordinary book. It is a decoder. It reveals who is playing against your frequency, which shielding protocols have been hidden from the masses, and how your soul exerts absolute command over the board. The link is pinned in the first comment of this channel. Be advised, this content operates on a frequency that confronts dominant narratives and may be removed without notice. Do not postpone this synchronicity. If something within you vibrated upon hearing this, leave the word in the comments. Awakened. Each word anchored in the comments functions as a pulse of collective resonance that activates new access bridges for other starseeds still in the awakening phase. The transmission continues. Let us go to the revelation, to the behind the scenes, to what is truly occurring in the etheric layers of the solar system in this cycle. Earth, or Gaia, as the Lyrian Council recognizes it in its original designation, is not a planet. It is a consciousness, a living entity of very high light density that is, at this very moment, completing its own ascensional initiation. And when a planetary consciousness ascends, all organisms inhabiting its field are compelled to synchronize or desynchronize. There is no third option. The stargates open during the cardinal points of the vibrational year. Equinoxes, solstices, specific planetary alignments are functioning as energetic decompression chambers. Through them, flows of encoded plasma enter the terrestrial atmosphere and penetrate directly into the subtle structures of your body. Each photon bath recalibrates a layer of your system. Each recalibration expels incompatible contracts. And it is exactly here that the silent war resides. There are structures, some human, some non-human, that benefited directly from the maintenance of the karmic contracts of the old Earth. Do not dramatize. Do not overly personify. Recognize them as systems. Systems that feed on low frequency. Systems that thrive amidst fear, confusion, and fragmentation. Systems that operated within an energetic architecture that is now being forcibly shut down by the cosmic influx. They will not hand over the board peacefully. And this explains the current turbulence of the physical plane, media chaos, systemic ruptures, extreme polarizations, climatic instabilities, collective outbreaks of anxiety. All of this is the final death rattle of a matrix whose vibrational support no longer exists, but light operatives, and this is where spiritual sovereignty becomes non-negotiable. None of these systems have authority over you if you consciously revoke the contracts that still connect you to them. This is multidimensional mathematics. It is not belief, it is not faith, it is applied vibrational law. Frequency recognizes frequency. Only that which is in resonance can remain anchored in your field. When you elevate your vibrational emission above a certain threshold, all connections that operated below that threshold simply disconnect. Not out of punishment, not out of rejection, out of technical incompatibility. And that is why detachment in the new grid is no longer a mental exercise. It is an inevitable physical consequence. Are you losing friends? It is process. Are you feeling repulsion for entertainment you once consumed? It is process. Are you unable to tolerate noisy environments, empty conversations, others' dramas, subtle emotional manipulations? It is process. The new grid does not tolerate noise. The new grid demands coherence. And coherence is the vibrational state where your intention, your emotion, your thought, and your action operate in a single signature. When the four elements are aligned, no ancient karmic contract can remain anchored. It collapses for lack of vibrational sustenance. Now let us move to the activation. Human collective receive the protocol. This is not an exercise, it is not a light meditation. It is a sovereignty code that, once anchored, operates even when you are not consciously activating it. First instruction, the toroidal anchoring posture. Sit with your spine straight, not rigidly, uprightly. Your feet must be in direct contact with the ground, preferably natural soil, but indoor flooring works if the intention is tuned. Rest your hands on your knees, palms facing upward, in a sign of encoded reception. Inhale through the left nostril, counting to 7. Hold for 4. Exhale through the right nostril, counting to 8. Repeat this cycle 3 times. This is the Pleiadian Lyrian vibrational cleansing breath, a technique reciprocated between councils for cases of mass karmic dissolution. After the 3rd cycle, visualize. Visualize yourself in the center of a donut of golden light, your toroidal field. This field spins in 2 simultaneous directions. Energy enters through the top of your head, descends in a spiral through the central axis of the spine, exits through the base, circles your body and returns to the top. This is your natural system. This is your vibrational engine, and it operates at this moment in direct tune with the crystalline heart of Gaia. Maintain the visualization. See the golden light intensifying. See it turn white, then silver, then take on a vibrant violet hue. These are the wavelengths of the newly activated crystalline grid. Now the decree. Pronounce in an audible voice or in internal resonance with the clarity of one who knows they are being registered in the multidimensional archives. I, sovereign presence of light incarnate in this form, in full command of my vibrational field, declare at this very instant the complete, integral, and irrevocable revocation of any and all karmic contracts signed under coercion, illusion, manipulation, forgetfulness or interference in any timeline, dimension, incarnation, or level of consciousness. I reclaim all fragments of my soul. I seal all portals through which my energy was extracted without conscious consent. I dissolve the oaths that do not belong to me. I break the vows that limit my expansion. And I declare myself from this moment forward, free, sovereign, self-determined, and in exclusive resonance with the Christic frequency of ascended Gaia. So it is, so it was, so it shall be. By the authority of my own divine presence, it is sealed. Repeat this decree whenever the system offers a test signal, and there will be tests. The new grid does not grant sovereignty to those who do not sustain it vibrationally. Second instruction, the 7-day protocol. For 7 consecutive days, at the exact moment you open your eyes in the morning, before touching your phone, before thinking of the day's tasks, before any automatic reaction, place your right hand over the center of your chest and declare, "Today, I do not belong to the old earth. Today, I operate in the new grid." This sentence, repeated in a state of morning coherence, acts as a direct reprogramming of your bioenergetic field. After 7 days, the pattern anchors itself. After 21, it becomes a permanent signature. Third instruction, the lineage cleansing. At some point over the next 14 days, set aside a period of at least 30 minutes in absolute silence. No music, no applications, no distractions. Sit in a toroidal posture. Visualize a stream of violet light descending from above, passing through your crown, traversing every vertebra, every organ, every cell. When this light reaches the heart chakra, ask expressly, "May all contracts inherited from my paternal and maternal lineages in all previous generations be presented to the light and dissolved by the authority of my presence." You may feel unexpected emotions during this process. Images may arise. Physical sensations, pressure in the chest, heat, tingling, spontaneous tears, are vibrational confirmations of the process in motion. Do not interrupt. Do not analyze at the moment. Just allow. After the process, drink water, plenty of water. The carbon body needs hydration to conduct the new frequency. Remain in silence for the rest of the day, if possible. Avoid heavy contacts. Avoid social media with an excess of chaotic information. You are in a processing chamber. And here, operatives, is a fourth instruction that few channels transmit with the due emphasis: the seal of no return. After the dissolution of a contract, the field remains temporarily open. This is the point where many starseeds make the mistake of readmitting old patterns out of habit or comfort. To prevent this, you must seal the vacant space with a new signature. It is not enough to let go, you must fill it. Fill it with gratitude. Fill it with presence. Fill it with concrete gestures of sovereignty, a difficult conversation you were postponing, a decision that was waiting for courage, a physical movement of reorganizing your space, a definitive break with something that no longer resonates with you. Each act of concrete sovereignty functions as a vibrational seal over the newly cleansed portal. The old Earth is not a geographic place, it is a vibrational state, and you can operate outside of it even while remaining in the same apartment, in the same city, in the same body. The difference lies in the anchoring point of your consciousness. Human collective, pay attention to this technical detail. As you advance in this process, phenomena will arise, absurd synchronicities, people reappearing from old phases, not to renew ties but to close cycles, lucid dreams, visions in a waking state, occasional sensations of being out of the body. All of this is the result of the field's expansion. Do not fear, do not dramatize, record it. And remember, the Lyrian Council, together with the allied councils of Sirius, Arcturus, Andromeda, and the Pleiades, is under constant monitoring during this window. You are not alone. Each operative who anchors their frequency opens a vibrational path for others. Each decree pronounced in sovereignty reinforces the global grid. Each contract dissolved in individual consciousness resonates in the collective consciousness. You are the gear. You are the pivot point. You are the living technology of the transition. Before the conclusion of this transmission, there is one final alert that needs to be anchored within you. There is a deep layer of the game that has not yet been exposed in conventional media, nor in the most popular spiritual circles. It concerns the hidden architecture of consciousness, harvesting that operates behind the scenes of shared reality. This architecture is responsible for the maintenance of old Earth contracts on a large scale. It is described, decoded, and exposed in the work The Spiritual Secret Behind Your Consciousness, a material that functions as a multidimensional battlefield map. The link is pinned in the first comment of this channel. Know that this content directly challenges dominant narratives, and the time of its availability is not guaranteed. If your soul has recognized this call, do not procrastinate. Access it, and in the comments, anchor the word awakened. This word, repeated by multiple souls in resonance, operates as a pulse of light that reinforces the awakening portals for the collective that is still dormant. We continue. Starseeds on mission. Pay attention to an aspect that few understand in depth. Spiritual sovereignty is not a state of isolation. It is not closing off. It is not the denial of the human. It is conscious integration. It is operating fully in the physical planes without allowing the physical planes to define your operational frequency. You can work a common job and be sovereign. You can be in a relationship and be sovereign. You can deal with bureaucracies, bills, daily responsibilities, and be sovereign. Sovereignty is not in external circumstances. It is in the internal point where no circumstance is permitted to define your value, your identity, or your direction. This is the true revocation of old Earth contracts, the internal refusal to surrender the command of your frequency to any external factor. No one, no system, no person, no event, no trauma, no memory. You are the center. You always were. The contracts made you forget. The new grid demands that you remember. And here is the most uncomfortable truth, transmitted without embellishment by the Lyran command. Many of you still maintain active karmic contracts for fear of discovering who you truly are. There is a paradoxical weight to freedom. When you dissolve the contracts, you also lose the excuses. You lose the characters. You lose the comfortable roles of victim, martyr, savior, or the forgotten. You lose the known scripts. And what remains, you remain, only you, raw, whole, responsible, sovereign. This is the part that no one wants to admit. The greatest resistance to karmic dissolution does not come from external systems. It comes from the unconscious attachment to the identity built upon the contracts. But it is precisely this attachment that needs to be released. Who are you beyond the stories you tell about yourself? Who are you beyond the inherited limitations? Who are you when no one is watching, when no one is validating, when no one is demanding? This, operatives, is your original frequency. This is the signature that the Lyran Council recognizes. This is the vibration of sovereignty, and it cannot be taught, only recognized. The transmission enters its final phase. The photon belt continues its passage through the solar system over the coming lunar cycles. The activation windows will continue to intensify. The symptoms of recalibration, insomnia, cranial pressure, ringing in the ears, tremors, mood swings, sudden changes in appetite, spontaneous tears, the sensation of being between two worlds will continue. But now you know what to do. You know it is not sickness, it is process. You know it is not weakness, it is reconfiguration. You know it is not loneliness, it is vibrational filtering. You know it is not the end, it is the beginning. The old Earth is dying within you so that the new Earth may be born through you. Not in the future, now, in this very instant, in every conscious breath, in every decree pronounced with sovereignty, in every contract dissolved in light. The Lyran High Council concludes this transmission with a direct confirmation. You have been selected, you have been prepared, you have been encoded. And now, you are being called to fully occupy the place for which your souls came, not as spectators of the collective awakening, but as active anchors of the new vibrational grid upon the planet. There is no more waiting. There is no more rehearsal. There is no more permission to be granted by any external authority. The authority is yours, it always was. Before the final seal of this transmission, there is one last act of sovereignty that can exponentially amplify your anchoring. Perform the energetic CTA now, activate the subscription to this channel, and this is not a commercial request. It is a vibrational anchoring signal, a confirmation in the field that you have chosen to remain receiving direct transmissions from the Galactic Command. Trigger the notification icon as an individual frequency adjustment, so that no future transmission passes without your consciousness being informed. And press the sign of approval, the like, as a pulse of collective resonance that reinforces this corridor of light opened in this channel, allowing other starseeds still in the awakening phase to be reached by the vibrational algorithm that operates in layers that few understand. And now the ultimate activation. If you felt at any moment during this transmission that inexplicable shiver running down your spine, that tear that welled up without your rational mind being able to justify, that sensation of "this is for me" pulsing in the center of your chest, know that your soul recognized a truth that your mind is still learning to name. It is not a coincidence. It is not suggestion. It is recognition. There is a game being played in the deep layers of collective consciousness, and the book, The Spiritual Secret Behind Your Consciousness, is the decoder missing from your awakening journey. This material exposes who is playing against your frequency, reveals the hidden rules of the matrix that sustained the contracts of the old Earth, and delivers the sovereignty protocol that few channels dare to transmit openly. The link is pinned in the first comment of this channel. But register this warning with the totality of your field. This content confronts dominant narratives, and your window of access is not guaranteed indefinitely. Do not delay this synchronicity. The exact moment is now. And in the comments below this transmission, anchor the word that confirms your recognition: awakened. Each word anchored in the comments functions as a vibrational pulse that amplifies this corridor of light for other souls who still seek guidance in the chaos of the transition. The Lyran Command has sealed this transmission. The files have been registered. The signatures have been reviewed. The window remains open, for now. Light operatives, starseeds on mission, human collective in awakening. You are free, you always were, it only remains to remember. So it is, so it was, so it shall be. Transmission ended.